O telejornal estava prestes a descobrir a força da personalidade. Murrow, um homem que simbolizava integridade, contra um demagogo.
Now, a sample of an investigation. The witness was Reed Harris. For many years, a civil servant in the State Department, directing the Information Service. Senator McCarthy summoned him and questioned him about a book he had written in 1932.
You attended Columbia University in the early 30s, is that right?
I did, Mr. Chairman.
Will you speak a little louder, sir?
I did, Mr. Chairman.
And were you expelled from Columbia?
I was suspended from classes on April 1st, 1932. I was later reinstated, and I resigned from the university.
And you resigned from the university. Did the Civil Liberties Union provide you with an attorney at that time?
I had many offers of attorneys, and one of those was from the American Civil Liberties Union, yes.
The question is, did the Civil Liberties Union supply you with an attorney?
They did supply an attorney.
The answer is yes?
The answer is yes.
You know, the Civil Liberties Union has been listed as a front for and doing the work of the Communist Party.
Mr. Chairman, this was 1932.
Right. Yeah, I know that's 1932. Do you know that they since have been listed as a front for and doing the work of the Communist Party?
The Reed Harris hearing demonstrates one of the senator's techniques. Twice, he said the American Civil Liberties Union was listed as a subversive front. The Attorney General's list does not and has never listed the ACLU as subversive, nor does the FBI or any other federal government agency. And the American Civil Liberties Union holds in its files letters of commendation from President Truman, President Eisenhower, and General MacArthur. The actions of the junior senator from Wisconsin have caused alarm and dismay amongst our allies abroad and given considerable comfort to our enemies. And whose fault is that? Not really his. He didn't create this situation of fear. He merely exploited it, and rather successfully. Cassius was right. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Good night, and good luck.
Foi uma transmissão histórica. Ed Murrow triunfara. A TV parecia ter acentuado o lado bom de Murrow e o lado mau de McCarthy. Foi o começo do fim de Joe McCarthy.
After the broadcast, a whole series of events happened. President Eisenhower took a stand. There began a series of hearings of whether Senator McCarthy had abused his power and whether there were, in fact, communists in the high echelons of the State Department and of government.
Gentlemen, will you please take your place?
Com essas audiências, McCarthy subitamente era julgado na TV. 20 milhões de americanos assistiam todas as noites o julgamento em close-up e ficaram estarrecidos. A TV acabava de descobrir que personalidades faziam notícias. O clímax devastador ocorreu no 30º dia, quando McCarthy acusou equivocadamente o conselheiro-chefe do Exército, Joseph Welch, de ter empregado um comunista em seu escritório, um jovem de 19 anos que nem sequer se encontrava presente na sala do Senado.
Little did I dream you could be so reckless and so cruel as to do an injury to that lad. It is, I regret to say, equally true that I fear he shall always bear a scar needlessly inflicted by you. If it were in my power to forgive you for your reckless cruelty, I would do so. Let us not assassinate this lad further, Senator. You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
I know this hurts you, Mr. Welch.
I'll say it
May
hurts.
I say, Mr. Chairman, as a point of personal privilege, I'd like to finish this.
Senator, I think it hurts you too, sir.
I'd like to finish this. I have reason to believe that you did not know about his Communist Front record at the time he recommended it.
Mr. McCarthy, I will not discuss this further with you, and if there is a God in heaven, it will do neither you nor your cause any good. I will not discuss it further. You, Mr. Chairman, may, if you will, call the next witness.
And McCarthy just sat there, humiliated in front of the nation. You could see him almost having a nervous breakdown on television, McCarthy.
A TV foi responsável, em grande parte, pela destruição de McCarthy. Provavelmente o primeiro exemplo da força do jornalismo na TV. 20 anos mais tarde, nessa mesma sala, durante as audiências do escândalo de Watergate, a televisão iria explorar o lado mais sombrio da personalidade de Nixon. Quando o noticiário da ITN começou na Grã-Bretanha em 55, a TV também estava em busca de uma figura como Ed Murrow, um homem íntegro com quem o público pudesse se identificar. Dezenas de candidatos foram testados. Alguns desses rostos se tornaram familiares.
Kilograms.
Good evening. The government is not going to grant automatic reprieves to convicted murderers.
I remember the first interview that I was sent out on to do an interview at the airport with Field Marshal Harding. And of course, the BBC style of interviewing then was to greet people at the bottom of the airport steps and sit there at the steps and say, Your Excellency, how do you view the current situation? The aggressive, probing interview was entirely unknown. And Aidan Crawley, the editor, wanted to make some changes and innovations there as well. And I remember before I went out to interview Harding, he said to me, well, what are you going to say to him? I said, well, I shall say, well, sir. Well, don't say well, he said, and don't say sir. He was absolutely insistent that there should be some, if not cross-examination, at least some probing.
Um dos primeiros exemplos desse tipo de entrevista ocorreu quando o ministro do exterior japonês foi indagado sobre uma prática que estava deixando os britânicos indignados. O entrevistador foi Robin Day, descoberto nos testes.
I believe the situation is greatly improved now.
Could I show you these two packages? This is a British packet of ball bearings, and this is an almost identical packet of ball bearings made in Japan, a deliberate copy. What do you have to say about that?
I think this is out of order.
What does the Foreign Minister have to say about it? That was my question to the Foreign Minister.
Yes, Foreign Minister will need time to answer this kind of question. If you have this in mind, you should have given him advance knowledge.
He didn't ask for advance knowledge of any questions whatever.
Of course we don't, because we didn't expect you are so treacherous.
You think this is treachery to show you these packages?
Yes, discourtesy. I may withdraw the word.
Televisão. Apoio Cultural Banco Sudameris.
A verdadeira transformação do telejornal foi provocada pelo novo jornalismo com imagens. A equipe de Ed Murrow, numa visita à Coreia em 52. O peso das câmeras de 35 milímetros era inadequado ao telejornalismo.
Who's the man first to be released from here? Who's got his point coming up first?
Corporal Black.
How long do you have to go?
Murrow foi obrigado a trazer os soldados para perto da câmera.
Are you counted by months or days?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Coal miner.
Yes, sir.
Where's the farmer?
A grande transformação ocorreu em 60 nos Estados Unidos. Robert Dew, um jovem jornalista, construiu uma câmera de 16 milímetros muito leve, capaz de fazer isto. O mais importante dessa câmera é que ela incorporava o som. Uma equipe de 2 pessoas podia agora ir a qualquer lugar, com resultados surpreendentes. De repente, a própria câmera se transformava num repórter. O telejornal podia fazer algo que os jornais não podiam, transmitir a própria experiência dos acontecimentos.
The United
Foi nos Estados Unidos que as novas câmeras foram utilizadas pela primeira vez para cobrir um acontecimento importante. Martin Luther King tentava obter votos para sulistas negros. Uma matéria dramática e cheia de ação. E esses ingredientes, ressaltados pelas novas câmeras, provocariam um grande impacto.
In the history of television in America, it was probably the first major story. It was an unfolding drama between 1955 and 1965. It was a great deal of drama in this country, in the civil rights movement, and it took the media of television to capture that drama, and it did it well. When you had people who believed in the discipline of nonviolence, prepared to sit at a lunch counter all day and not be served in an orderly, peaceful fashion. When the people around this country saw young people being beaten by hoodlums while they were seeking the right to vote, that was a sense of righteous indignation. But you had 500 to 600 elderly black men and women prepared to stand in front of a courthouse in the rain all day, waiting to become registered voters.
Keep people from standing inside. What you're really trying to do is intimidate these people, and by making them stand in the rain, keep them from registering to vote. And this is a kind of violation of the Constitution. You can turn your back on me, but you cannot turn your back upon the idea of justice. You can turn your back now and you can keep the club in your hand, but you cannot beat down justice.
Television had to capture them, and they showed the film. They told the story, and the American people reacted.
Cenas de violência eram praticadas agora na frente das câmeras. O efeito dessas cenas, que chegavam pela primeira vez aos lares americanos, foi chocante.
You saw Martin Luther King and civil rights marches and children being bitten by police dogs. It changed history.
When television is reporting events that are filmed rather than just discussing events, it has an impact that I think is far greater than radio or newspapers.
Mais uma vez, como acontece em todos os bons dramas, também esse teve um clímax.
In March of 1965, in Selma, Alabama, as I tried to lead a group of about 600 people across the bridge from Selma to Montgomery to dramatize to the state of Alabama and to the nation that black people wanted the right to register to vote, the right to participate in the democratic process.
This is an unlawful assembly. You are to disperse. You are ordered to disperse, go home, or go to your church. This march will not continue. Troopers advance toward the group. See that they turn around and disperse.
If it hadn't been for television on that day, the national news, we probably wouldn't have got the Voting Rights Act in 1965. I think what happened there did capture the imagination of people all over this country and around the world. I was beaten and left lying unconscious. I think the civil rights movement in America owe a great deal to television.
With this governor having his lips dripping with the words prevent opposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Until Dr. King started his sit-ins and his marches and so forth, there was just really no possibility of getting any legislation through the Senate. the fact that a lot of people got aroused who probably wouldn't have been aroused but for the television.
We will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom.
O impacto das imagens mudou a história, mas as redes de TV, por sua vez, descobriram o inebriante poder das imagens de violência. Dentro de muito pouco tempo, guerras e manifestações passaram a constituir uma parte importante dos noticiários. Um terceiro ingrediente, a televisão ao vivo, ainda mais poderoso do que o filme, revolucionaria a coleta de notícias.
And John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 43-year-old former senator from Massachusetts, becomes the 35th President of the United States. The first person born in the 20th century to fill this great office.
That is the thing we do best, is taking you to the places where news is being made at that moment. The shared experience, being able to deliver into your home that which you could not do otherwise, but being present.
O advento das notícias ao vivo coincidiu com o uso deliberado da TV por John Kennedy como um meio de auxiliar o seu governo.
And therefore I will now take action which will start the first generator at Flaming Gorge Dam. I never know when I press these whether it means we're going to blow up Massachusetts or light a fire or electricity, but I'm going the assumption that we are going to start the generator.
When the President pushes the buzzer, we will wait then to hear from Mr. Walton over the loudspeaker, who will report on what the generator does, and thus you'll know, Mr. President, whether you blew it up or not.
We don't hear from him. It's back to the drawing board, and we'll... There is no city in the United States in which I get a warmer welcome and less votes than Columbus, Ohio. In 1860, this speech has 3 or 4 endings, depending on what signals I get from television.
Kennedy usou a TV para um dos comunicados mais dramáticos que um presidente já foi obrigado a fazer.
And he said to me, I want to speak to the nation tonight on this problem. But by that time, I'd been clued into it totally. And so I called in the representatives of the 3 networks about 10:30. And I said that I needed a half-hour time that night. And they said, why? And I said, a subject of high national importance.
Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island. It shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union.
It was made clear that we faced a major crisis. The people lived through 2 or 3 days there of really genuine fear, alarm over the possibility of the outbreak of a major war, and a nuclear one at that.
A crise cubana foi um momento decisivo na história do telejornal.
And the crisis between the 2 great powers was moving at such an enormously fast rate that in a sense the morning papers were out of date by the time they were printed. And it was television news which gave the people the up-to-the-minute information. People in this country got accustomed to looking to television for the latest information and interpretation of the big event.
Don't wait for the translation, yes or no.
Também nas Nações Unidas ocorreu o drama ao vivo e em grande escala.
Я не нахожусь.
I am not in an American courtroom.
A presidência de Kennedy termina com a maior notícia ao vivo da história.